Hi everyone, happy Sunday. I'm recording this video on Remembrance Day, and I thought I would depart a little bit from reflecting on the Gospel of the weekend and reflect instead on Remembrance Day itself. It's a secular occasion, but it's really one of the few occasions where, as a society, we have this kind of religious, really almost liturgical moment of remembering death, and remembering in particular the great cost of preserving the freedoms that we enjoy civilly as Canadians, including our religious freedoms as Catholics. But there's also, I think, a very great spiritual richness to the day, particularly in the profound recognition of the dignity of sacrifice, and especially the sacrifice of one's life. And of course, the conviction that this deserves our public honoring and our public recognition. We recognize the same thing as Catholics in of course the way we honor the sacrifice of Christ, which of course is of a completely different order because of who Christ was and how great his sacrifice was and what it obtained. But we also recognize the importance of the many others who sacrificed their own lives and gave up their lives in defense of freedom, in defense often of foreign countries really that were being oppressed. And we sense, we intuit that there's something in that greatest generation, as it's sometimes called, of the two world wars, and that to forget their example and their sacrifice is to forget something essential of ourselves as a nation, and even more than this, to forget something essential of ourselves as humans. We recognize in them some of the noblest character that we find in history, and we sense that thought, that recognition of character should inspire us, and often does inspire us really to strive for a similar nobility of character. A day like Remembrance Day really is the type of day where national sentiment kind of falls a little bit short and kind of has to lead into its religious counterpart. Perhaps especially for Canada, where pretty much every theater of war that we've been engaged in our history has been overseas for other countries, for other people's freedoms, and so on. There's a particular sacrificial character to our own military history, which is something which I think we can certainly as Catholics honor and respect, and in many ways is so beautifully consonant with the Christian understanding of life, perhaps even more so than a simple national Canadian identity, a kind of a sense of altruism. There's really a sense of charity spelled out in the example of all those people who gave up their lives, who fought and died for the good of other countries. And it's good for us as Christians, I think, to take part in this, and especially to encourage this celebration of sacrificial love. All of these areas which still somehow remain sacrosanct in the public order, where we celebrate this kind of Christian love. In a sense, these might become ways that God kind of prepares the soil, so to speak, prepares people's hearts to receive the gospel again as we seek to evangelize the culture around us. And of course, even if this grand re-evangelization project doesn't quite pan out in that way, still, it is good for us as Christians to participate in these events, to honor and to pray for the dead, and to pray for the peace and stability that so many people have laid down their lives to protect.